You know, we often hear about how to act better, develop good habits, and lead a virtuous life. But nobody talks much about the bad habits we already have that are holding us back. As Seneca put it, there are two pesky vices, worse than the others: lack of persistence and lack of self-control. Epicurus also knew that the secret to a great life is to never give up. And not giving up means continuing to make the right effort, even when motivation is nowhere to be found. It means creating new habits that make us better. And I get it, building good habits isn't a walk in the park, so we need to hang in there. The other key thing is to resist. That means saying no to temptations and bad habits that are just dragging us down. We have to take control of our minds to escape those traps. On my channel, we've talked a lot about historical good habits, but we haven't really delved into what we should avoid. What daily habits and routines we should say no to. Now is the perfect time to start kicking out of our daily lives everything that's making us worse. No more negative emotions that distract us or things that are preventing us from reaching our goals. Before we move on, I'd really appreciate it if you could give this video a thumbs up. It helps spread this philosophy to more people. And of course, if you don't want to miss any videos, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. You see, many times we complain that our days are flying by, but we act like we have all the time in the world. Seneca put his thinking cap on and concluded that many of us are merely existing, not really living. We waste our time on things that don't add any value and keep putting off what we need to do. When we're lazy, we behave as if we're going to live forever, not realizing that time is our most precious resource. There's no guarantee we'll be alive tomorrow or in a position to do what we want. As Marco Aurelio put it, you could stop living right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. Reflecting on time prevents us from wasting it and makes us appreciate it for what it's worth. The first step to living a good life is taking our time seriously. Stop clinging to things, not just physically but emotionally. The Stoics believe that we need to learn to let go, not just in a physical sense but emotionally as well. If you've made a mistake in life, don't torture yourself over it. Learn from the mistake to avoid making it again. But don't beat yourself up with guilt and regret. Those emotions don't help. It doesn't mean it's wrong to feel these emotions, they help us understand that we acted wrongly. But once we've grasped and learned from the situation, we shouldn't let those emotions continue to torment us. We all make mistakes, so don't excessively suffer from them and always seek ways to grow from them. Quit procrastinating. Marco Aurelio wrote the following in his Meditations: "You could do a good deed today but choose to do it tomorrow." Or as Seneca says, all fools have in common that they are always preparing to begin. We'd rather say, "I'll do it tomorrow," instead of saying, "I'll never do it," even though many times when we postpone something, it's as if we'll never do it. If you have something to do, do it now. What's the point of postponing something you need to do, even if it makes you lazy? It's always better to do what you should do now, for several reasons. First, as I mentioned earlier, our time is limited. Second, rest is more satisfying when you've fulfilled your obligations. When you procrastinate something out of laziness, you feel guilty, knowing you should be doing something instead of resting. You don't enjoy rest the same way because deep down, you know you don't deserve it. The worst part is that sooner or later, you'll have to fulfill that obligation, so you've gained absolutely nothing by postponing it. Stop seeking rest and recognition in everything you do. If you've done something well, helped someone, or succeeded in something, stop seeking approval or recognition from others. Thinking that others should thank you for what you do for them or congratulate you for your achievements will only bring suffering. You don't control what others think, you don't control whether they appreciate or reject what you do. You only control your actions. Let the end of an action be the action itself, not the recognition. If you do something, do it because it makes you happy or because you believe it's the right thing to do. Recognition and others' congratulations often come after a job well done. But if no one recognizes your effort and work, nothing is lost. You did it for the right reasons. Understand this, and you'll feel satisfied with yourself, regardless of what others think. Stop ignoring injustice. In Stoicism, one of the most important virtues is justice. Philosophers like Marco Aurelio and Cicero spoke extensively in their works about this virtue. Being just means acting right with others, doing what we must. In Marco Aurelio's Meditations, he talks about how injustice can also be committed when we do nothing, when we allow injustice to happen without taking action. Staying idle makes us accomplices. Avoiding injustice that happens around us, even if it's not caused by us, is part of justice. Stoics avoid unnecessary conflicts, believing we should live in harmony with others. But there are situations where a Stoic can't ignore injustice. The moment when unnecessary conflict becomes necessary is when an injustice is being committed against oneself or others. Stoics prioritize justice over avoiding conflict, as long as it aligns with virtue. Don't be afraid of change. Marco Aurelio wrote the following in his Meditations: "The universe is transformation, life is opinion. The change in all things is inescapable, and transformation is necessary for renewal. Everything in life is subject to change, both good and bad. Trying to keep everything the same not only keeps you trapped in something you can't control but also prevents you from discovering the many opportunities that exist and can appear in your life. Don't fear these changes because they are inevitable and often good. Instead of trying to avoid changes, focus on adapting to them and seizing the good in the new that emerges in your life through change. Through change, we can become better, we can evolve. This doesn't mean we should reject the old or what we have now in pursuit of changes in our lives. If we are content with what we have, it simply means we shouldn't fear change because we have the ability to adapt to whatever life presents. Stop being a slave. Seneca wrote the following: "He is a slave who can't say, 'No, show me a man who isn't a slave.' One is a slave to lust, another to greed, another to ambition, and all men are slaves to fear. No servitude is more disgraceful than one that is self-imposed." Seneca was spot on in saying that we are all slaves to something, often without even realizing it. We forget that to be truly free, we need to have our minds fully under control so we can resist the temptations that arise in our lives. Discipline is the best tool to achieve this. For some, it may be more challenging than for others, but everyone must daily remind themselves of who is in charge, you or your impulses. As Seneca pointed out, no man is free unless he is the master of himself. Stop being content with mediocrity. Strive for excellence every time you do something in your life. Ask yourself, did I give my best? When you look back on your life, you'll realize that in many situations, you didn't give your best. The question is, why are you doing something that doesn't deserve your best? And if it does, why aren't you giving your best? Ask yourself this question with everything you do, and always give your best. We don't control whether we will succeed in what we do, whether we will win or lose, or whether we will receive recognition for our actions. But it is in our control to try our best and give our all to what we do. Anything beyond our control should not matter to us. Being content with mediocrity when you have the ability to achieve something extraordinary doesn't make sense. Don't let anxiety dominate you. In his Meditations, Marco Aurelio wrote, "Today I escaped anxiety." Or no, I discarded it because it was within me, in my own perceptions, not external events. External events do not cause anxiety. You are the only one responsible because this feeling originates within you due to your thoughts about future problems. Anxiety doesn't make you better, and it doesn't help you solve your problems. It's just a thought that torments you, thinking about what may or may not happen in the future. Realize that no matter what happens in the future, no matter how uncertain your life is, you have overcome worse situations before. Understand that you have the tools to face anything bad that may arise in the future. Distinguish between what you can't control and what is within your control, and consider the worst that can happen. In many cases, you'll realize the situation is less severe than you thought. You have habits in your life that you want to eliminate. I hope to hear from you in the comments. I hope this video helps you get rid of the habits we all have in our daily lives that aren't good for us. Eliminating these habits and incorporating new ones into your life, as explained in this channel, is the path to living a peaceful, happy, and purposeful life. I hope this helps. If you have any further questions or need additional assistance, please let me know.